Now, if I close my eyes, I can still hear the hum of our old avocado green refrigerator in the kitchen. It was the heart of the house, the place where we were nurtured and nourished before we headed out into the wild. That screen door was our threshold. 1 minute you're in Mom's kitchen, smelling the cinnamon toast she made before school, and the next you're out on the porch, smelling the petrichor, that sharp, earthy scent that rises from the pavement right after a summer rainstorm. Back then, our world was defined by these little clicks and hums. The metallic snick of an electric can opener meant dinner was coming, and the time Lady S.'s voice on the telephone was how we made sure our clocks were right. In my day, the street wasn't just a way to get from A to B. It was our laboratory. Around the age of 7, we became free-range kids. We'd be gone for hours, and nobody asked where we were. We had a whole hierarchy out there on the asphalt. We played kick the can, which was a mix of hide and seek and a heart-pounding race to strike that empty tin before it tagged you. We learned about teamwork and betrayal in games like Red Rover, where you'd call someone over and hope the line held. Sometimes things got a bit rough. We'd come home with skinned knees, which were basically badges of honor that told the story of how high we climbed or how fast we ran. It was a Lord of the Flies world sometimes, but it taught us how to negotiate and settle our own scores without needing a grown-up to step in. Every child needs a place that's their own, away from the prying eyes of adults. For us, it was the fort. We were scavengers back then. If a new house was being built nearby, we'd borrow the leftover plywood, 2x4 South, and real estate signs to build our clubhouses deep in the woods. The smell of cut lumber still takes me back to those underground pits we'd dig, or the tree huts with hanging vines where we felt like Peter Pan, even if it was just a giant refrigerator box in the garage. That cardboard was a spaceship that could fly to the moon. Those spaces gave us what the experts call ontological security, a fancy way of saying it was a place where we were the masters of our own destiny. Summer had its own rhythm. If you weren't lucky enough to have a pool, you had the yellow brick road, the slip-end slide. The secret kids was a bottle of your mum's jade green Palmolive detergent. You'd pour that on the plastic, and suddenly you were moving faster than a jet. Sure, the soap stung your eyes, and you'd probably kill a strip of your dad's lawn, but it was worth every second. We didn't have fancy SPF 50 back then. We slathered on baby oil and stayed out until we were weathered. Being a kid meant being outside until the sun carved its way into your skin. It was a time of fearlessness, where the biggest risk was how high you could jump off the swing set. Saturdays were different. We didn't need alarm clocks. We'd wake up earlier for cartoons than we ever did for school. We'd plant ourselves on the living room floor in our pajamas with a bowl of sugar disguised as breakfast. It was the golden age of the cartoon's cereal power couple. You'd have Mr. T cereal or Smurfberry Crunch that turned your milk blue, which we thought was magic, even if it puzzled our parents. The shows were basically 30-minute commercials for toys like Transformers or G.I. Joe, but we didn't care. We were immersed in that Technicolor ecstasy, watching the same adventures as every other kid in the country at the exact same time. The kitchen wasn't just for cooking. It was a gathering place where all the big decisions happened. I can still hear the distinctive plopping sound of the electric percolator in the morning and the rattle of the aluminum ice cube trays. Mum had her secret tricks that made dinner taste like magic even if it came from the pantry and the freezer. As the eldest, I was the sous chef, which mostly meant my job was peeling potatoes for the buttery whipped ones she'd made. We had those vibrant Pyrex bowls and those avocado green appliances that everyone had back in the 70s. In those rooms, we felt accepted and loved unconditionally. A feeling that stays with you even when you're as old as I am now. Mum's cooking was about making things stretch. We lived on the Casero Cannon. There was pizza bread, just Italian bread with spaghetti sauce and mozzarella broiled for 10 minutes. It was zero effort for Mom, but felt like a feast to us. Then there was the meatloaf. The trick was to never overmix. It just 10 or 12 swirls of a large spoon, so it stayed tender. We'd have macaroni and cheese with hot dogs on the busy nights, or breakfast for dinner when we wanted a treat. These meals weren't fancy, but they were steeped in nostalgia and tied us to our neighbors. Like when we'd bring a Danish kringle over to welcome someone to the block. As the day faded, the sensory signals changed. We didn't have cell phones to tell us to come home. We had the streetlight rule. The moment those amber sodium lights flickered to life with that low electrical buzz, the clock started ticking. You had about 8 minutes to pedal your bike home before your mum came to the door and shouted your full name at a volume that could shatter windows. The evening meant the smell of Vicks Vapor-Rub if you were sick, or the scent of mothballs in Grandma's closet. It meant the sound of static on the TV after the national anthem played and the broadcasting ended for the night. That transition from the freedom of the road back to the safety of the house was a sacred ritual. We were all kids once. You might think these stories are just about my neighborhood, but these feelings travel. In the Philippines, kids were playing patintero, which was just their version of our tongue. In India, grandmothers were teaching the same lessons of respect and heritage. Whether you were picking honeysuckle in a backyard in Ohio or playing in the Children's Palace in Hanoi, the themes were the same: autonomy, risk, and belonging. Every culture has its version of the corner store where you de-loiter with your friends, or the ice cream truck jingle that would send everyone scrambling for spare change. We were all learning how to navigate the world through play, turning simple objects like pebbles and sticks into storytelling boxes of our own making. Finding your heart. Looking back through these rose-colored glasses isn't just about living in the past. It's a way to remind ourselves that we have a social harbor, a place where we belong. Reminiscing about those simpler times helps us stay connected to who we are today. When you grow up, life gets complicated. But those memories of a summer town, the smell of a bonfire, and the sound of your friends' laughter across a park, they act as a buffer against the turmoil of the world. The freedom and fun of those days aren't really gone. They're just tucked away in the heart of the home, waiting for you to remember them.